One of these men is creating the largest monument the world has ever known. What is your name, please?
My name is Korzak Zilkowski.
My name is Korzak Zilkowski.
My name is Korzak Zilkowski.
Only one of these men is the real Korzak Zilkowski. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Dina Merrill, Donna Meachy, and Kitty Carlisle on To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by Dristan Decongestant Tablets, the new 3-layer tablet for effective relief from cold miseries, sinus congestion, and pollen allergies. Dristan. Panel, good evening.
Good evening, Bob.
Please open your envelopes, take out your affidavit cards for the first time tonight, and follow along as I read this first one. I, Korzak Zilkowski, am a sculptor. I am currently engaged in the lifetime project of creating a suitable monument to the American Indian. I acquired the mining rights to a 6,000-foot mountain in South Dakota, named it Mount Thunderhead, and in 1948 started to carve into its face a mounted figure of Crazy Horse, famous chief of the Sioux Indians. When I have blasted and carved away some 6 million tons of rock, my monument will be the largest the world has ever known. Its outstretched arm alone can accommodate 4,000 standing men. It'll be taller than the Washington Monument, longer than the Mount Rushmore Memorial, and bigger than any of the pyramids of ancient Egypt. Signed, Korzak Zilkowski. Panel, you heard these three gentlemen, each claiming to be Korzak Zilkowski, sculptor quite extraordinary, I think you would say. And we'll start this round of questioning tonight with Don Amici. Don?
Thank you, Bud. Number one, where did you study sculpturing?
I took it up as a hobby, sir.
No formal education?
No,
Number
not
two?
at all.
I studied in Chicago and New York both.
Number three, where did you study?
I never had any lessons.
Number one, who would you consider the greatest sculptor in all history?
Michelangelo is one. I consider him the best.
You consider him the best? Do you know of another top Italian sculptor, number two?
My favorite sculptor happens to be an American, as a matter of fact, and his name is Charles M. Russell.
Charles Russell, a sculptor? Number three, who do you think is the finest sculptor in the world?
Today?
The world has ever known.
Oh, Phidias.
I beg your pardon?
Phidias.
Kitty?
Number one, what was Michelangelo's real name?
Michelangelo.
Number two?
I have no idea.
Number three?
Michelangelo.
His real name. Oh, all right. Number one, would you be kind enough to spell your name?
Junior.
Huh?
Junior.
Junior? Oh, is that what you spelled? I see. Number two, well, never mind. I see they're not going to spell their name, so that's that. Number two, can you tell me how did you acquire this mountain from the state of South Dakota, or did you buy it from private people?
No, I acquired mining rights to it from the United States government.
Number three, can you tell me, it's an awfully personal question, but this must cost a fortune. Where is all the money coming from to blast the rock and bring the dynamite and so forth?
All the tourists come into my house, where I have a art gallery, sculpture.
I see. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Bud. Number three, maybe you know the name of the tribe that ended a rather tragic flight in the Dakotas. Do you happen to remember that?
In the Dakotas?
The end of the...
You're not thinking of Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce, are you?
No, let me check with number two. Do you know?
No.
Number one, do you happen to remember that? Number three, what is the material of a blasting cap?
I don't know.
Are you familiar with blasting too? Number two?
Well, actually, are you speaking of the compound in the cap?
Yes.
Well, it usually is fulminated mercury, the customary one.
Is
although
there...
they do use...
I'm through. Number
Dina.
two, thank you.
Number 3, who is paying for this? Is this on a grant, or is it
Well,
just...
the tourists come into my home, and they pay 75 cents for the permission to come in. And with that money, I use that to buy the steel and the bits and the powder and labor for the mountain.
How long have you been saving up to do this?
Well, I've been working at the whole idea for about 22 years, but actually out there since 1948.
Number 2, did you make a sketch of the sculpture before you started the blasting?
No, I made a model.
A model?
That was
clay
a picture
model?
of the model that you saw.
I see. And do you map it out in cross sections, drafts?
No, the way we laid it out was by projection. We made an outline on the mountain in white paint of the...
We'll have to terminate that outline, white paint or no. There it is. It's time now to vote. If you will, panel, do as you always do, namely without consultation, mark your ballots and vote right now for number 1, number 2, or number 3. As usual, the team of challengers will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. Everybody still in a big study? Tom is in a big study.
Somebody told me.
Are you ready, Tom?
Somebody told me. No, Bud.
Come on.
I don't know what I'm doing here. I voted for number 1 because it was between him or 2 or 3.
Dina, your vote, please.
I voted for number 3, Bud, because number 3 looks to me rather like a mountaineer and someone who might have a hobby of the study of Indians and this kind of thing.
Huh? Don, what about your vote?
Well, I've got a silly reason. I guess he's the only one that pronounced Michelangelo, which is the way to pronounce the name, is against Michelangelo, which the other two, well, they pronounced it that, so I don't know. That's my reason.
Kitty, your vote.
I voted for number 3. I think that Michelangelo's real name was Buonarroti. But number 1 looks too effete to be doing this kind of a great big thing. He looks too civilized. Number 2 has no color at all in his face. And number 3 looks like the kind of man who would be a tourist attraction as well as a great sculptor. And I like what he said about Phidias.
Okay, there we have the votes all tallied. We know how we stand. At least we will know how we stand as soon as we find out which one of these 3 stalwart gentlemen is the real sculptor on a large scale. So will the real Korczak Ziolkowski please stand up? It was funny. It was like the panel was wired that time. I never heard that happen before. As each one started to stand, then the other one did. Everyone went, Everybody's just playing an organ over there. All right, number 1, would you tell us your real name and what you really do?
My name is George Kastner. I own and operate the White Stallion Ranch in Hillsdale, New York.
That accounts for that good outdoor color you have, sir. And number 2, your real name and what you do, please.
My name is Pete Koolhoff, and I'm the gun and hunting editor of Argosy magazine, and I just got back from Africa, and I do have a tam.
Well, we thank you all. It's been fun having you with us, and in checking up the score, we find the panel did rather well. They had 3 right and only 1 incorrect, for a sum total of $150 from Dristan, as well as a package of fine gift products from the bake makers of Dristan. We thank you, gentlemen, again, and much success in your project, sir. Good night and good luck. Now, how to get relief from cold miseries.
Allergy victims. Here come the dust and pollen from trees, grass, ragweed, roses. And with the pollen come the allergy miseries. Watery, itchy, swollen eyes, sneezing, sniffling, hay fever. Now, for real relief, get Dristan decongestant tablets that check allergy miseries and protect against further pollen irritation. Dristan is the revolutionary 3-layer tablet that acts directly on critical areas of pollen irritation. When pollen invades delicate nose and head membranes, passages clog. Breathing becomes difficult. But Dristan, containing the decongestant most prescribed by doctors, brings dramatic relief. Its combined decongestant and anti-allergic actions reach all irritated membranes, shrink swelling, restore free breathing, and set up a protective barrier against further pollen irritation. For real relief from allergy miseries, get Dristan decongestant tablets.
Now, panel, may I present our next team of challengers?
What is your name, please?
My name is Nancy Love.
My name is Nancy Lowe.
My name is Nancy Lowe.
Follow along once again, panel. Look at the affidavit, if you will, your copies at least. I, Nancy Lowe, am employed by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. I work for the Space Task Group known as Project Mercury. Since April of 1959, I have been secretary to the 7 astronauts, including Commander Alan B. Shepard. Signed, Nancy Lowe. Three pretty ladies this time, panel, each one claiming to be Nancy Lowe, secretary to our space astronauts, and we will start this cross-examination with Dina Merrill. Dina?
Number 1, what is the name of the chairman of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration?
Dr. Webb.
Number 2, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Number 3?
Yes, I do.
Number 3, what are the names of the 7 astronauts?
We have Shepard, Carpenter, Sherrar, Glenn, Cooper. Oh, goodness. I'm very nervous.
Number 2, can you continue with that?
Yes, Slayton and Slayton. Could I start at the beginning?
Yes,
please?
you may.
Slayton, Grissom, and Shepard, Cooper, Carpenter, Sherrar, and
Where to go? Number 1, can you fill in?
Number 1?
Who
Carpenter, Cooper, Glenn, Grissom, Sherrar, Shepard, and Slayton.
Very good, number 1.
Don Amici.
Thank you, Bud. Number 1, what were the requisites, special requisites required in having these men been chosen for the space program?
They had to be a certain age.
No, I'm not talking about things like that. I'm talking about special requisites in their makeup. Would you know?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
You would. Number 2, do you have any idea what I'm...
they have to have the equivalency of a degree in engineering. Is that what you wanted?
No, I wanted to know what is in the makeup of the individuals, whether or not they should be, whether or not they, how they tested for calmness and resistance to stress and things like that. You wouldn't have any idea about these things. Number 3?
Well, as you know, they're all family men. This has something to do with their stability.
Yes. Number...
That's right. That's right.
Kitty?
Number 1, what is the Fédération Internationale Aéronautique?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Number 2, do you know who Dr. James P. Hogan is?
No.
Number 3, what did they eat before they, what did Commander Shepard eat before he took off?
Well, he had steak, eggs, toast, no coffee.
Number 1, can you tell me the name of the nurse who took care of him?
Lieutenant D. O'Hara.
Number 3, can you tell me what the name of that escape hatch was called, which we all watched on television with such interest, which was the last remaining thing to be taken away? Number 2, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Number 3, do you know what it was called?
The umbilical cord, is that what you're talking about? This is what they call it, the last.
Well, it looked like that, but that wasn't... Well.
That's what it's called.
Tom?
Thank you, Bud. Number 1, what does A-OK mean?
Everything's okay.
And what's the A for?
It's just a short term.
Like keep listening or something? Number 2, how many astronauts are married?
All are married.
All are married. Number 3, is there a lady astronaut?
A lady astronaut?
Not under your charge, but is there one, number 1?
That's all we have time for, so let's get our feet back on the ground from outer space, grab hold of pencils and paper, and mark our ballot. Do so, as always, without consultation, and vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All set, everybody? Did so well on the first one, you ought to be real good on this. Tom, are you set? Which one do you think is the real one this time?
I voted for number 1. I'm a little stubborn, and it wasn't 1 last time, and maybe it'll be 1 this time. I like to be right about these things, and if you want to fool me again, don't have it be number 1 for the 3rd time.
Dina, your vote, please.
Well, I voted for number 2. I think that in order to take charge of 7 such characters, one should be a motherly soul, and I think number 2 is.
Don Amici, your vote, please.
I rather suspicion that my mind must have been tuned exactly to Tom's, because my reasons were exactly the same as Tom's, other than that I didn't vote for number 1 last time.
Kitty.
Well, I voted for number 1. It seems to me that she was the only one who got all 7 of them reeled off at one crack. The others hesitated and forgot one or the other. And I think that the escape hatch was called a cherry picker.
Okay, I like umbilical cord better somehow. I don't know. All right, the votes are in, the minds are made up, and we'll check it off right now and find out how much veracity there is in the way our panel has voted as we learn which one of these ladies is the real secretary to the astronauts. So will the real Nancy Lowe please stand up? Thank you very much. I think I would have voted for her because she's the calmest of the lot. She's the most like the astronauts themselves. She's real calm. What I liked about the way she reeled off those names was she's the only one of the 3 of you who started alphabetically. And that's what kept it in order in her mind. You did them alphabetically, didn't you? And that, of course, would have kept you from being confused, probably. But if you had fun, that's the important thing. Number 2, would you tell us your real name and what you really do?
I'm a kindergarten teacher in the Cambridge School, South Brunswick Township, New Jersey.
You have to worry about enough astronauts over there, don't you? Number 3, your real name and what you really do, please.
My name is Rose Marion Turner. I work for Chemical Bank, New York Trust Company, and I'm a bank teller.
It's a real pleasure to put money in or take it out where you're concerned, I must say. Well, let's check the score, and we find again the panel's been real smart. 3 right and only 1 wrong. That means, of course, $150 from Dristan, ladies, but if you had fun, as I said before, that's the important thing. Also from Dristan, a package of fine products. Thank you for being with us. Good night. God bless you. Now, here is a message of interest if you have ever had acid indigestion or heartburn.
Thank heavens I saw my doctor. I thought I had an ulcer. It was only my acid indigestion. Starting right now, I'm going to help protect my stomach lining with a special medication of Bicidol mints.
Bicidol does what no mere alkalizers can. It not only relieves acid indigestion fast, Bicidol actually coats sensitive stomach lining to help protect against further acid attacks. Ask your doctor.
Bicidol really works.
Get Bicidol mints.
And now a word about Free-Zone.
Stop. Cutting corns may be dangerous, painful. To safely remove corns or calluses in days, just drop on Free-Zone, lift off corns. As you drop on Free-Zone, it works instantly to relieve pain, form a protective cushion. Continued as directed for several days, Free-Zone loosens the corn so you lift it off safely, painlessly. No more dangerous cutting, no bulky corn plasters. Just drop on Free-Zone, lift off corns. Get liquid Free-Zone.
One more team of Challengers panel, and here they are.
What is your name, please?
My name is Martin Levine.
My name is Martin Levine.
My name is Martin Levine.
Again, follow along, panel, if you will, with this affidavit. I, Martin Levine, am vice president of a baking company. Under my supervision, 20 of our bakers recently completed a most unusual birthday cake. It weighed well over 2 tons and was served to 6,000 guests at President Kennedy's official birthday party. For those interested homemakers with pencil and paper handy, here is the recipe for the President's birthday cake. Cream 400 pounds of butter and 400 pounds of shortening until soft. Beat in 800 pounds of sugar gradually. Add 500 dozen eggs, then beat well. Sift 800 pounds of flour 3 times and add baking powder and salt. Add the mixture, the flour, and 5 gallons of apricot brandy alternately to the egg mixture. Add 300 pounds of apricot jam. Add lemon juice and vanilla to taste and bake in a moderate oven. For the frosting, plan on an additional 400 pounds of shortening and 800 pounds of sugar. Signed, Martin Levine. Well, panel, you have been tasting some of President Kennedy's birthday cake, and that may help you in your questioning. Let's see if it does. So we find out, or try to, which one of these gentlemen is not the right one, all having claimed to be Martin Levine. So we'll start with Tom Poston, mouthful and all.
Thank you. Good luck, Jack. Over there, talking for us all. That's pretty good. I think that's very good cake. Number 3, how was this cake transported, may I ask?
It was transported by armored car.
Armored car. Number 2, there's a question I'm very interested in. How many actual pieces of baked goods made up the cake?
Baked goods are 16 sections of 25 pieces for a total of 400 all told.
Thank you.
Dina.
Number 3, is your baking company in Washington or New York?
No, it's in Medford, Massachusetts.
Oh, I was looking. No. Bedford, where?
Medford, Massachusetts.
And it went by armored car all the way down to Washington?
That's right.
Good heavens. Number 1, was it a refrigerated armored car?
No, it's not necessary.
Number 2, when is President Kennedy's birthday?
The 29th of May.
Number 3, it didn't melt, and it was hot in May in Washington.
Nothing perishable there at all.
Don.
Thank you, Bud. Number 2, where are you from?
I'm from, where was I born or where am I from?
Where's
now?
the company?
The company is now located in Denville, New Jersey, on Route 53.
Now, number 1, where's your company located?
Hartford, Connecticut.
Hartford, Connecticut. Number 3, what are the color of your license plates? Number 2, what are the color of your license plates?
It's black numerals on a sort of a tannish background.
And number 1, what are the color of your...
Blue and white.
Blue, what combination?
Well, the white letters, the blue background.
Kitty. Don't talk with your mouth full.
You mean to tell me this is the real cake, the number 1, part of the real cake?
That's correct.
And it stays as good as this till now?
Well, we froze some of it.
It's absolutely marvelous.
Naturally.
Number 2, what do you call a moderate oven in terms of...
Moderate oven, approximately 350 degrees, give or take a few degrees.
Number 3, what do you call soft goods in the baking business?
Soft goods in the baking business are flashing bells and clicking lights and things like that. So here we go now. Munch along on your cake, but find time, if you will, please, to mark your ballots. Without consultation, once more, will you vote for Baker number 1, Baker number 2, or Baker number 3? You don't have to do it in icing, just with the usual crayon. Well, we're getting a composition from Thomas. Tom?
Aunt Jemima. Gosh, I was so busy with that I didn't even vote. I voted for number 1. Well, that's right. He was right the last time. What a goof I did. Okay, I'll have a reason. He knew his license plate color. Is that a silly reason? But it's a reason, at least. And I thought he seemed very much like a man proud of his work when Kitty said the cake was delicious, and he said, naturally.
Dina, which one did you
I voted for number 2, Bud, because primarily because he knew what a moderate oven was, and I don't think executives, unless they cook, would know that.
Probably not. Don?
I voted for number 2. Bud, I ruled out number 3 because he didn't know the color of Massachusetts license plates, and then I guess I just guessed between the other 2.
And finally, Kitty.
I voted for number 2 because he reeled off the amount of goods that you mentioned, you know, the different pieces that went into the cake marvelously. And also, What was the other question? Well, anyway, I voted, the oven, that's right, the oven. And I voted for number 2.
Okay, there we have it. Interesting tonight that it's been 3-1, right straight down the line. Let's see how it works out this time. Because the votes are all in, and this is our moment of truth as we discover how right or wrong we may be. In learning, of course, the identity of the real baker of the president's birthday cake. So, will the real Martin Levine please stand up? Well, congratulations to you, sir. I'm sorry I was the only one that was left out of the party. I didn't get a piece of the cake, but I'm sure from the looks of... Oh, say.
Kitty's giving you a
Thank
piece.
you very much, Kitty. I'm not on a diet. She is. Oh. In any event, this time, Tom, you were right. You stayed with the one, and it was,
It was lucky I didn't go off half-baked.
Number 2, may we have your real name and what you really do, please?
My name is Daniel Candell. I'm with the Business Affairs Department of Glitz and Tubman Productions, the producers of this show.
And, number 3, forgive me, my mouth is full.
It's all right.
Your real name and what you do.
My name is Jack Waltzer. I'm from Westbury, Long Island, and I'm an orchestra leader.
My, that is good, I must say. Let's check up on the score. I hate to come away from the cake long enough, but this time there were 3 incorrect, so that made you the really winning group here tonight, because 3 at $250 each makes a total of $750 from Dristan, as well as, of course, a package of fine products from the makers of Dristan. We thank you for being with us. Thank you for the cake. Good night, and God bless you. I'm sorry to say that's all the cake we have time for tonight, pal. So, it's been fun. We've all gained a little.
Yes.
And our tastes have been improved. I'm sorry you're on a diet, but good night, panel.
Good night, Bud.
Good night, Bud.
Bud Collier saying good night from Dristan and reminding you to, excuse me, tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. To Tell the Truth has been brought to you tonight by Bicidol Powder to settle acid upset stomach and relieve acid indigestion. Johnny Olson saying goodnight from To Tell the Truth. This program is pre-recorded.